Hey guys, welcome to the Festive Fun Stamp-A-Stack. This is a two-part video series, 7-card class featuring the Stampin' Up! Festive and Fun stamp set. We're going to start with our rhinoceros cards. There's two designs that feature the rhinoceros, and there are two designs that feature the giraffe. This class makes one of this design, two of this design, two of this design, and two of this. It is a Wonder Recipe Stamp-A-Stack. If you haven't seen our Wonder Recipes, they are 6x6 cutting diagrams used to divide up a piece of 6x6 designer series paper in two pieces. Then you arrange the pieces and make your cards. This is a Wonder Recipe 1415 Stamp-A-Stack. Class packets are available while supplies last at kitchentablestamper.com/shop. Check it out. When you get to the blog, kitchentablestamper.com/shop, you'll filter for class packets. The filter is on the right-hand side in the menu. If you're looking on a desktop, if you're on a mobile, filter at the bottom. Check out the class packets, see what we have available. You'll have plenty of materials in this class packet to make 7 cards. You will have leftover designer series paper, ribbon, and embellishments. We do all of your basic die cutting and punching for you, and they're just a really easy button kind of craft. So check out the class packets. If you've never done one, why not? All right, so we're gonna start with my class packet, and I've got both of my shaded spruce card base designs here. So we're gonna make 4 cards in this video, 2 different layouts, both featuring the rhinoceros. I'm gonna start by cutting the designer series paper. So let's get our paper trimmer and our Wonder Recipe cutting diagrams. You can choose any of the designer series papers in the packet that you want to use. You'll need 3 pieces, and I love the way my originals turned out, so I'm gonna go ahead and use the same designer series papers. We're gonna start with this piece of crushed curry with stars, and we're going to cut this one according to Wonder Recipe number 14. All right, the first thing I'm gonna do is lay this in my trimmer at 2 inches, and I am going to cut. I'm gonna take this larger piece, this 4x6 inch piece, and I'm gonna divide it in half at 3 inches. And then I just drop the pieces right on the grid, and then move on to the next one, the next cut. We're gonna cut 2 inches off the end of this 2x6 strip, and now we have 4 by 1 inch pieces. So we'll just rotate and divide this in half at 1. So that is our first piece of designer series paper. These are the pieces that we'll need for all 7 cards. Set that one aside. I love to just use the grid to keep the pieces. I laminate mine, and now we're going to do the fa la la and the green polka dot pieces. And our fa la la is directional, and I want these 2x4 pieces to read this way. So I'm gonna put that one on top. We can do 2 at one time, and I'm gonna put the fa la la into the paper trimmer, and I'm going to cut at 2 inches like this. So this strip can set aside, and this chunk we're going to cut into 2 inch pieces. Now, when you've got a directional paper, you want to take into account ahead maybe which direction you want your directional papers to go. All right, now we've got our 2x4 pieces. Let's go ahead and divide this one. We're going to cut this one at 2 inches. All right. So there are pieces. Now, the fun part about the Wonder Recipes is you can cut more than 1 sheet, or you can cut more than 1 sheet and use more than 1 recipe. You don't have to keep the pieces full and intact the way that you find them. So let me show you what I'm saying about this here. We've got two designs in the rhinoceros with a shaded spruce base, and we've got two designs with a poppy parade base and giraffes. And so how I'm going to divide this, there we go. I think I got everybody in the picture here. Our 3 2-inch squares are going to make one card. That one's nice and easy, right? And what I like to do with my pieces is as I divide them and decide which card, I'll just deal them out on top of the card base. I like to really spread out as I'm designing, but when I'm making the stack the second time, when it's a curated experience, I like to take and just put the pieces inside the envelope with the card base. All right, so our next one is our giraffe, right? And our giraffe has these two big crushed curry pieces and then two of the big green polka dots. And then let's bring our packets in here, our card kits. And I'm going to pop those right into the envelope. And you'll notice there's a fa la la piece. We got a little pop of red there. What I did was I took one of these and then further divided it. So I'm gonna just pop this in my trimmer and I'm gonna divide this in half at 1 inch. Now, because I don't want the fa la la piece to be the same length as the polka dot piece, I'm just gonna pop off 1/2 inch. All right, that is our giraffes. Now we're gonna put these 3 card bases, these 3 kits aside for video number 2. We'll do the giraffes in the next video. For our rhinos, we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna put the pieces into the envelope, but you'll notice we're gonna need to do just a little bit more surgery. Let's go ahead and take the fa la la, that's the landscape orientation, and the dots, and we're gonna divide those into 1 inch pieces. It's just like we did for the last fa la la. We're gonna drop it in the trimmer and just divide in half. And while we're dividing in half, you'll see I'm just going to drop these right here with the crushed curry. While we're dividing in half, let's divide this polka dot in half. And now we have more pieces for more cards. See, so the Wonder Recipes are a place to get you to jump in and to cut your paper. You don't have to use them exactly how they are. You can add another sheet of designer series paper if you're finding that you don't have enough pop of color. You can divide your pieces if you need to spread something across multiple card designs. You can just use one sheet and keep it super simple if you like, especially when you've got a sheet where you love both sides of the paper together. For instance, look at these adorable lights with the green polka dots. So either side, you could just cut one if you want to and use both sides of the paper. It's really a lot of fun to start mix and matching the pieces. Once you've picked out your stamp set, the one that you want to feature, and you've picked out your designer series paper and your color palette's defined, you grab some cardstock bases, cut the designer series paper, then you've built momentum, you're on a roll. Deal out those pieces for each of the cards, stamp your images, and then arrange. It really is a fun way to just jump in and get going, cut the paper. All right, so first video, we are going to do our rhinoceros cards. We've got 2 of each. If you've got the class packet, you'll find your shaded spruce card bases that we do not emboss for you. We couldn't, it's just too many card bases. But we are going to emboss the card bases with the Merry Melody. So let's start with that. And since it's a Stampin' stack, we're going to emboss all of our card bases with the Merry Melody. You'll want to be careful because some of your cards are landscape and some are portrait, and you'll want to take that into consideration before you start embossing so you get them the right way. You can use any embossing folder that you like. So if you're looking for fast cards and you want to just do something like a polka dot where you don't have to think about the orientation, that's a wise move for making lots of cards. All right, so we're gonna emboss with the Merry Melody. So we need our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine and number 1. Got the Merry Melody folder here, and we are going to do one for the video with a portrait orientation. So I'm just going to pop my card front into the folder. Now, you'll want to look at the folder and make sure that you've got your ampersands, I think that's how you say that word, the right orientation, because I think this is the only thing that really matters, that really indicates orientation or the proper direction. So you'll pop that in, run it across the front of the card. You can use the little lines, the lines to keep everything nice and level. All right, we'll pop that in and pop number 4 over the top. And we'll give it a crank. Isn't that gorgeous? I really do just love that. And with the Fa La La paper, the music notes is really a perfect choice. If you don't have the music notes, feel free to stamp your backgrounds or to use any embossing folder that you like. All right, now we've got our shaded spruce, and this one's a portrait, as is this one. And then we have 2 of the landscape orientation. We're gonna do 2 designs at one time. All right, the first thing we'll do is put our designer series paper, and we have those stashed away in our envelope, ready to use. 1x4 strips for our landscape design. And for our portrait design, we've got 2x4 and 1x4. Let's get some liquid glue and get these layers glued down. You're going to get lots of this designer series paper, 2 6x6 sheets of each pattern. And I think it's very fun to have for the holidays, but you're going to love these multicolor stripes and dots for birthday cards and celebration cards too. All right, there's the designer series paper for our landscape orientation. And now for our portrait. I'm going to put these right next to each other. I'm not going to overlap them at all. They make kind of a nice framed bit of designer series paper. I'm using liquid glue because that gives me a little bit of time to kind of slide them. You want equal right and left and top and bottom borders, and you want to bump them right up against each other for this layout. I love the liquid glue. You got time to slide a little bit and then burnish down. Let's do our second copy. And there's our second design. All right, if you're cutting your own kit for this card, let me show you the pieces that we did for you. These are included if you get the kit. We've got the rounded rectangle. This is the largest rounded rectangle from Nested Essentials Dies. We're going to cut that from Basic White. And then from Granny Apple Green, same die set. Got the second from the smallest, Nested Essential Pennant. From Shaded Spruce, we punched a leaf using the bow punch. And our last little item here is for a little pop of crushed curry. I used the Sending Cheer dies. It's the hat brim for Santa's hat. It's this fluffy little piece. So you could use a cloud or some other little fluffy piece that you have. Use creatively. All right, what we're going to do with these is for each copy of the card, we're going to glue this little cloud shape to the back of our rounded rectangle. And then we'll adhere this to the card front. Centered right to left and low of center. And then we're going to add this pennant, and we're going to use that to cover over the seam at the top. You can also take a little bit of liquid glue on the stem of our leaf and add that to the card. All right, let's catch up our second copy. All right, so there's all of our die cut pieces for our portrait design. Let's set that one aside. And for our landscape design, let me show you what you're gonna find in the kit. All right, we did these for you too. This little semicircle right here, that is half of the new modern label punch. So we cut that from Poppy Parade and then cut it in half. From Basic White, we have the largest Nested Essential Pennant. And then this little guy, this little tag reinforcer that we've come to affectionately call the handcuffs, that one is cut from Shaded Spruce. And we did that one with the mini pocket envelope. Now this is mini pocket envelope die is a really cool die. It's got a pocket that's great for gift card giving, and then a bunch of wingmen accessories that you're gonna love. It's an online exclusive, so you go to marisaAlvarez.stampinup.net, click shop, click products, click online exclusives, check out all the online exclusive products, or you can search for mini pocket envelope dies if you're interested in that. Really cool die set, but it's exclusive to online. Item number is 159167 if you're interested. You won't find that in any catalog. All right, so what we're gonna do with this for this card is we're going to grab our Simply Score tool, and we're going to score this little like semicircle just so that we get a nice fold over the top of the pennant. All right, so I'm gonna grab my Simply Scored. I'm going to pop the little cutouts, and we're gonna score at 1/4 inch. That'll just give you a nice fold right over the top of the pennant. It'll be a crisp line and pretty straight then. All right, so we've got our pennants. We've got our scored semicircle. This has got a little fold already scored into it, a little fold line already scored into it for you. But I like to turn it inside out first and then right side in, so it's got a smooth fold across the top. I'm gonna grab my bone folder, and we're just going to go right across these folds. We're gonna do the same on this one. We're gonna use a bone folder, fold the wrong way and then the right way. That'll make it a little bit more manageable to glue and give it a really good crease. You want this to be a nice strong crease so that when the glue grabs, it's down. All right, each one, we're gonna do them both the same. A little liquid glue, or if you'd like, you could use like a little tear and tape there if you don't wanna wait for the glue to dry. And then you're gonna take this little dude, pop it right over the top of the pennant, center it. You can kind of use the stitches at the top of the pennant to make sure that you got it pretty well on center. My eyes aren't on center, so I really depend on centering rulers and things like the little stitches across the top. You do that for both, and then you're going to take these little handcuffs and do the same thing. Just trace it with a little bit of liquid glue. A little bit really does go a long way with this glue. It's very strong glue. And then you're gonna just pop that over, center, and grab. Now you've got this really cool tag. All right, let's make 2 really cool tags. All right, isn't that a fun stack of dies and punches to make a really cool tag? Let's go ahead and glue that onto our card fronts. Now, if you were doing this as a gift tag, you wouldn't cut the modern label in half. You just score it in half and then put the little reinforcer and punch a hole. That way you could thread it on to some ribbon or twine and it would make a perfect gift tag. But since it's going on a card, we can half that little label and then glue it down. All right, there is our landscape design. Now let's do some stamping. In the class packet, you are going to have half sheets of white cardstock. You'll take 2 for your stamping, and you'll take 2.5 of these half sheets, and you'll cut them down to 5 by 3 3/4. You'll make 7 pieces that are 5 by 3 3/4, and those are going to line the inside of your card. So you can see here, we've got our liners, and the rest is for stamping your images. So I've got 1 liner for each card and some white cardstock to do my stamping. We're gonna stamp our rhinoceros and color him up. Now I'm going to stamp 1. I'm going to color 1. You'll do 4 so that you can do the whole stack. When I'm doing a stamp that's a line image as big as this one, I like to flip the stamp so that the rubber side is up and then bring the ink pad and pat the stamp. Now I can see if every little detail is inked and how well it's inked. Make sure all the stripes on the scarf are inked. Make sure this very center where sometimes it's hard to get ink. Once you've got a good ink on your stamp, then you'll press in the center, kind of walk your fingers, and give the ink time to transfer, and you'll get a great image. You'll stamp 4 of the rhinoceros. Now, let's also talk about the greetings while we're at it. So our landscape version has the fa la 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 paper. And so I let that be the outside greeting. This little guy covered too much of the paper, so I decided to use the Merry Christmas from Merry and Bright. It really is the perfect complement to the Merry Bright and Bold Designer Series paper. They're part of the same suite. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use these greetings in some of the designs. Now, if you don't have Merry Bright and Bold and you don't have some like block sentiments like that, you can buzz over to marisaAlvarez.stampinup.net and click shop, pick up the Merry Bright and Bold bundle, or what you can do is you can take the images, the greetings that are in the Festive Fun stamp set and stamp them on Poppy Parade with Versamark, and then you can ransom style, add your greetings, Christmas wishes, or you can do Happy Christmas. Either way, with a little bit of white embossing powder and some ransom note cutting, you get some really cute greetings. I have Merry and Bright. I invested in this one, and it coordinates perfectly with the Merry, Bright, and Bold designer series paper. So we're going to go ahead and use these black greetings on my samples. Merry, Bright, and Bold is photopolymer, so I've got my Stampin' Pierce matte and Poppy Parade ink. Let's go ahead and make our Merry Christmas greeting. I love these because they're super easy to cut out. You get some great images with the Merry and Bright stamp set, but I really bought it for the greetings. All right, there's our Merry Christmas. You'll do two, one for each copy. Well, let's leave our Poppy Parade for just a second and set aside our images. Let's deal with the inside of our cards. At Christmas time especially, you don't always want to write a lot in the cards. So let's do a little decoration on the inside. I've got the green card base, so we're going to stamp with Poppy Parade ink, Happy Christmas Wishes, and bring one of the little birds from the outside in. And then for our Merry Christmas, we'll do May Your Season Be One That's Festive and Fun from the Festive and Fun stamp set. And again, add that little bird. So for our portrait, let's ink up May Your Season Be One That's Festive and Fun. And we'll just pop that a little high of center. And for our landscape, we'll add the Happy Christmas Wishes sentiment right in the center. Should have left the memento. Let's stamp some little birds for our inside. I love bringing the little bird from the outside to the inside on these. I'm going to do it on the giraffes too. It's just a cute little addition. I got Memento Tuxedo Black. I'm going to stamp kind of right above the S in Wishes. And I'm going to stamp below Fun for this one. All right, let's get coloring. Let's start inside with the birds. I've got Dark Daffodil Delight, Pecan Pie, and Shaded Spruce. I'm going to do the body of my bird first, but what I like to do when I'm doing multiples, especially at the holidays here, is I like to try to, it's kind of a little game, I like to try to pick up the markers in any given color just one time. So if I'm making 4 rhinoceros cards with 4 birdie liners, I want to see if I can pick up the pecan pie markers just one time. So all my birdies are pecan pie, light for the body and then dark for the wings, keeping it simple. I didn't do a lot of shading on this on these images except for on the Rhinoceros. He kind of is the star of the show, but otherwise we're keeping it pretty simple. All right, faces and butts are light, and we're going to go through and do all the wings with dark pecan pie. All right, we'll see if we need to pick those up again. Now for the hat and scarf, I'm going to do Shaded Spruce. I got light Shaded Spruce for the scarves on this bird and the hat brim and the little pom-pom on top of the hat. Oh, we don't want that to soak through to the one behind it. There we go. And same with this guy. And then the little guy that has that same style hat and scarf on the outside of the card, I'm going to do the light Shaded Spruce. Then you'll notice that one of these presents is Shaded Spruce. So I've got the light, I'm going to do the present. And just a little bit of shading on this one. What I'm going to do is go right along the bottom and up the side a bit. Then I'll blend that one together. And then all the little hats. Okay, that's the inside birdies, but since we've still got some shaded spruce, let's do the wreath. I'm gonna do light shaded spruce and fill in the whole thing. Watch his little fingers there. I don't know if you noticed that. And then we're gonna dab a little bit of dark shaded spruce around the outside of the wreath. And for his scarf, we'll do the bottom. And then the second from the bottom on the other side. And then we'll do the second from the top. And then the first from the top over here. And then 1, 2, 3, 4 from the knot and the one on the back of his neck, all with dark shaded spruce. All right, I think got all my shaded spruce. We'll see. And then dark daffodil delight. We're gonna do the bird's beaks, and we're gonna do the bottom one on the left, underneath the green here, right here, right here, and right here. And then this present. Now this one present here that I did with the dark daffodil delight, you can, if you want to, add a little shadowing, a little shading with some light pumpkin pie. I like how the light pumpkin pie brings it from yellow to kind of a gold look, and I just did a tiny bit around the bottom and right side, so just a tiny bit of shade. Let's go over here and put some beaks on our birds. All right, insides are done. All right, let's get Poppy Parade next. I'm going to do this little hat with light Poppy Parade, and then mostly a little bit of dark scarves, ear muffins. I'm gonna do the sled with light, just kind of a coat of light Poppy Parade, and then dark around the edge. And the skates. Do the stripes on the scarf next. Bow on the wreath. Bow on the present. I think we're doing pretty good. Let's grab some Granny Apple Green, and I'm gonna do the rest of these stripes with the dark Granny Apple Green. I love how this scarf comes out with the multicolor stripes. Is that not cute? And then the presents, the present and the bow. Next, for my rhinoceros, I have light gray granite and light pebbled path. We're gonna do in sections here so that we have time to do a little blending. We're gonna fill his face, ears, head with a nice solid coat of this gray granite. Then we'll take the light pebbled path and add a little shadow on the ears, top of the head, and then the back down the jawline. We'll go back and blend that all in. And his nostrils, we're going to fill in with the light pebbled path. His hand and arm, we'll fill in with light pebbled path. And then work on the body. Once you got him filled, then we'll just give him a little shape. We'll go down his back with a little shadow, across the back leg, down his tail, under his scarf, and then we'll just blend that in. I'm going to keep the edge of the line wet, so go all the way down, and then just kind of work your way back. We're blending wet ink with wet ink. Looks pretty cute, doesn't he? All right, so that's it for the gray granite. Let's do the runners on his little sled with dark or with light pebbled path. And I have for the inside of the ears, I have light bubble bath. I'm just gonna fill that up right up against the gray. And if you have anywhere that you blend out of the lines at all, you can take a little color lifter and just push those spots back a little bit. I got his tail a little bit too wide. So I love this. It doesn't really lift color. What it does is it pushes it deeper into the cardstock. So you can just swipe with a little color lifter and it pushes it so that it's deeper in the cardstock. Pretty cool. All right, let's get these guys cut out. You'll cut out one greeting for each card and one rhinoceros for each card. I'm gonna leave the ground on this guy because there's like little snowdrift underneath him. And then I'm gonna cut out with just a little bit of white around the edges. After I get him cut out, the greetings cut out, I'm going to put dimensionals on the back. All right, there he is. And I've got one for each card in the stack with dimensionals on and sentiment for each copy. Okay, dimensionals are all sticky. Let's get our Merry Christmas card in here first. And we're gonna add our little rhinoceros right above those little pierced. And I like to do Christmas first and then add Merry, but I'm going to take my time here and not burnish it down until I know I've got it lined up just the way I want it. Let's do the same for our second copy. So cute, right? All right, now design number 2 in our rhinoceros. Let's add our little guy on the tag. And for all of these, we're gonna add a little bow made with the black and white gingham ribbon. So keep your ribbon on the card and then loop, swoop over the top, tuck, and pull. Hold the center and adjust the size of the loops. There's your perfect bow every time. And then when you cut away from that card, there's no waste on this side. When you fix the angle on this side, that's all you're gonna throw away. Put some glue dots here, and we're gonna add a bow to each of these cards, one and then on each design. So for this design, we'll do right in that reinforcer. And for this design, we'll do right at the top of that sprig. Let's get the insides inside the cards. That's next. I love the greeting and the little bird right in there is perfect for the holiday time. You can write Dear Nancy and Carol and sign it. Love, Marisa, and call it a day. Sometimes less writing is more at the holidays. And these with the little birds are super adorable. Let's go ahead and finish the last inside. The variety of the sentiments inside will make it a little bit more fun for you when you're crafting. It's fun to do a set of cards that are all similar instead of, 100 of the same card, right? Now, next up in the kit, you get a half a pack of iridescent dots. These are such a cool embellishment, and iridescent adhesive back dots, and they are currently on stop sale, but they'll be included in your packet, and you'll have more than what you need for your cards. And we're actually going to use quite a generous amount. We're going to use 8 on the portrait design. What I'm going to do is put 3 as like holly berries, 3 as berries on the banner here. And then I'm going to use 5 of them, kind of like a confetti or a snowball. So I'll do 2 white ones here, and then I'll put 3 white ones over here. And we'll do that for each of our portrait designs. And for our landscape designs, we'll do 5 of them. And I'm going to do the green ones this time. You can decide if you want to use the pink ones. You'll have enough in your half pack plus extra to use just the green, white, blue, and red ones. I did not use a designer series paper that uses the pink. There's plenty of them in there though, so they'll match your designer series paper, but you can use the pink ones if you want to. You'll have plenty to do 5 on some cards and 8 on others with leftovers. So there's a lot of these iridescent dots in your class packet. All right, so there it is. There is our Fa La La Rhinoceros card and our Merry Christmas Rhinoceros card. You've made it through the first 2 designs. I will see you tomorrow in video number 2, where we'll make the remaining cards, these 2 giraffe designs. All right, you guys, if you've got any questions about the Stamp-A-Stack, you can email staycrafty@kitchentablestamper.com, and to shop Stampin' Up! 24/7, buzz over to marisaalvarez.stampinup.net. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.